Hey everybody, it's Noah, and today I'm going to be coming back to you guys with another one of my renowned life story videos. And this one's actually going to be one of the craziest life story videos that I've ever uploaded. And it's so crazy, so massive, and has so much detail that I'm probably going to be cutting it into like 3 parts. And this is going to be the part 1 video of the massive story that happened to me like towards the end of school and over summer. So this crazy story started back in the end of May, and I had met this girl at the beginning of the month, and I had a lot of anxiety around her because it had really been a while that I had really gotten to be acquainted around any girls like in particular, and this girl was just like really interested in me. But the problem was that I didn't really reciprocate those feelings back, and there was another one of my friends that was kind of into her, and he was like getting really jealous that she was like all over me. He was starting to get uncomfortable around me, really scared of me for some reason, and I mentioned it to him, and then he just shrugged it off. And I just felt really uncomfortable with this girl being all over me, especially when although I did appreciate a girl like being nice to me like that, I wasn't really feeling the feelings back with this girl or anything. So I kind of told my friend, look, you can have her, I don't really care. And then the girl got all pissed, and she was like, you can't control who I'm with and who I'm not with. And I was like, well, I'm just suggesting that I don't really want to be with you, and this guy likes you, so, you know, maybe you guys should just get back together. And she was like really not for it, so I just left it alone. But I kind of brought it up to him, and he kind of brought it up to our friends, and he said, oh, Noah said that I could have Luis back. And, you know, that's the crappy name that I came up with in like 5 seconds. So basically, long story short, this girl that I met ended up giving me a lot of confidence around other girls and stuff. She kind of helped me get over my anxiety around women, which is kind of what started the shit with the other girl, because otherwise I wouldn't have the balls to have started the ordeal that ended up starting the crazy situation that I'm going to be talking about in this video. So basically, I kind of just told the other girl that I didn't want to really be seeing her or anything like that, and she was very flirty with me. But towards the end of the month, some drama went down with me and her because I thought that some guy did something to her, and then I kind of blew it out of proportion. And around the same time, I was getting a boost of confidence, so I was like, you know what, let me do something that I probably would have never done before. So what I ended up doing was texting the best friend of the girl that I had liked for a couple of years, like low-key. I didn't really like have a massive crush on her or anything, but if there was anybody in the school that I would have chose to have gone out with, it would have been her. But I already knew that I had 0 chance with her. But then I started seeing some things online, and I kind of looked back to my old YouTube videos, and I saw that some person with a name similar to hers, I'm just going to call it Tabitha B, because Tabitha was the subject of the Mr. Steal Your Girl video, and she's also the subject of this video. So basically, after I uploaded the video about Tabitha, a person named Tabitha B ended up leaving a comment on that video saying, oh my god, did someone blurt out my crush to KingNo? Or something like that. And this Tabitha G person had left a bunch of comments on my videos from about all the way from January to about, I think the last time she left a comment on one of my videos was, I think, January 1st, because that's when I uploaded that video where I was just giving an update for like New Year's and shit like that. And the only problem was that I didn't know definitely 100% without a doubt that it was her, but the name of the account was like very similar, and this girl was being very flirty. She was saying like, oh, he's cute, keep my secret please, bye, and leaving all these really flirty comments on my videos. So beginning in like over the summer, I was looking back at the comments of the girl, and I thought to myself, what if it actually is the real Tabitha? And I was like, nah, there's no way, it's just some random fan. But back in May, I decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna get this over with and hit up her best friend and just tell her how I feel about the girl. And so the best friend was like, oh, she has a boyfriend, and I was like, well, is it online or something like that? Because I asked around, and everyone was like, oh no, she doesn't have a boyfriend or anything like that. I mean, granted, she could have kept it secret, so I kind of understand why a lot of people wouldn't know. And then she was like, oh no, she's not dating anyone online either. So basically, long story short, her best friend ended up taking screenshots of our entire conversation, and she probably sent it to Tabitha and everything. So for the rest of the video, I'm gonna call her best friend Chung Lee. And I basically was like, alright, so me and Tabitha, we're gonna meet up, you know, just tell her to meet me here. And she was like, alright, will do. And then I ended up getting really worried about my friend because he was acting very strange, and he was going through some rough shit at the time, so I decided to take him out with my friends and buy him pizza. And then he was talking crap about the girl that was flirty with me earlier that month, and then he was like, man, I don't want her, she's a slut anyways. And I was like, I guess there are other girls out there. And then I was like, as for me, I'm going for Tabitha. And so he bursts into tears, and he gets like really upset, and then he just runs out the place, and I call him up, and I'm like, dude, you know, there's other girls other than Tabitha, right? And then he's like, don't do this to me, and then he just hangs up, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm actually legitimately fucking scared right now. This is the girl that I'm supposed to be meeting up with after school today, and I don't really know how this guy's gonna feel about me, you know, being in a relationship with her and walking around with her in school, and I don't know how he's gonna feel when he sees us, and he's going through a really rough time right now. He's making like school shooter jokes, so I don't really know how comfortable I feel not reporting him out of just genuine concern as a friend. So instead of meeting up with this girl after school, I mean, I intended to meet up with her. I didn't really think I was gonna be in the dean's office that long, but what I ended up doing was going to the dean and just saying how I was concerned about my friend. Long story short, I ended up in there for about a good 45 minutes. Then I ended up DMing Tabitha herself, and I was like, oh, I'm really, really sorry I can't make it. And that was pretty much it. She didn't respond to me or anything like that. She didn't even look at the message, according to what I know. I'm not sure if the Instagram updates back then let you see if someone saw it or not, but as far as I was concerned, she didn't read it or anything like that. And somewhere in between there, I was having a Skype call with one of my friends, and then she said something really serious to me that implied that something happened with her and another guy. And I got really concerned about that, and I didn't really make that big of a deal about it until I started seeing her walk around with cut marks. And then at that point, I was just genuinely like, okay, I have to tell somebody about this. But my mistake was saying that some guy did something to her along the line, and that ended up getting me in the office for about another hour that day. And I genuinely believe that some guy did something very, very serious to her, when in reality I found out later on that the guy just grabbed her ass and that was really it. And they were kind of just making out, and then he was trying to force and do something more, but then she was like no, and then he stopped apparently. And I got really overprotective with the girl because she was my friend and she was like a 9th grader and everything like that. Now we don't talk. I mean, she hates my fucking guts, and I completely understand that because I kind of dragged her into a situation that really should have been talked out. And so I hit up Chung Lee and I was like, yeah, I was really busy yesterday, I'm really sorry. I kind of stiffed Tabitha, but I kind of want to meet up with her again today. And she was like, alright, I'll let her know. And I wasn't able to meet up with her again because, like I said, I ended up in the dean's office for about an hour because I had to report this girl that was acting suicidal and everything like that. After that, I didn't want to ask a third time, and then in between that time period, I added her on Snapchat and I tried talking to her or something like that, and then she just blocked me for no reason. I guess she just didn't want to talk to me, or she was just upset, or she probably just wanted me to grow some fucking balls and talk to her in person. I didn't really know what was going on through her head. I mean, honestly, I feel looking back that if she really did like me, that she would have just hit me up right away, and she would have been like, yo, what's up? I mean, I don't know the situation necessarily, but she definitely talks to other guys, so it's not like her parents are just like, oh, you can't talk to any guys or anything like that. I just definitely think that it was because she didn't want to talk to me, and basically that was kind of the situation. Around this time, I found out that one of my good friends was actually starving herself and going through some rough shit, and I was skipping class to avoid Gerald for the most part because I was just feeling really uncomfortable after that situation, and he got really pissed at me because I reported the girl, and I made a big deal out of that situation because I was skipping class, and I found out that this other girl was starving herself, and I actually wanted to genuinely spend time with her regardless of whether she was going through a rough time or not. So I ended up spending a lot of time with her and getting really, really close to her and stuff, and it basically got to the point where we were getting really close to each other physically. She was hugging me a lot, and I was hugging her back. And the reason why I was doing this was because, again, Tabitha wasn't hitting me up. She was ignoring the absolute shit out of me. But when I saw her in the hallways, she would smile at me a little bit, get a little bit uncomfortable and everything. And so towards the end of the year, I started growing more balls, and this one time I whispered in her ear, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then I just screamed on the last day of school, unblock me on Snapchat. She didn't fucking unblock me, it's great. Totally not heartbroken at all. But anyways, the year ends and my friends were bugging me to make a move on her, but I just was too scared to do it. I couldn't find a good time. And on the last day of school, she was kind of close to me. She was with her friend standing next to me, and she was kind of waiting for me to talk to her, I guess, but I wasn't really talking to her at all. And I kind of pulled out my phone and I called up my friend and I was like, yo, where you at? And I kind of left, but she was kind of still out there talking with her friends and everything like that, and I didn't really know what to do, so I kind of walked up to her and her group of friends and I yelled out, swag, fucking kill me. And she smiled a little bit, and that was pretty much it. And then I left, and I just felt really bad about not directly talking to her or anything like that. And so basically that weekend she blocked me on Instagram, and I was really upset over that. And I was like, why the fuck did she block me? Because I wasn't talking to her or something like that? I don't know. So I ended up getting really pissed and I blocked her back, and then I figured out how to unblock her, and then I did that. And then finals week came, and during finals week, the other girl that I was hanging out with towards the end of the year, she was staying really close to me, so there wasn't a time period where I was necessarily alone. And the finals week went by, and then Tabitha saw me and the other girl, I'm gonna call the other girl Lacey. She saw me and Lacey walking in together, and then she just looked really upset, and I just smiled at her, and then she just walked away. And then I felt really bad about that when I went in to take my test. And so after I went in to take my test, I called up my friend and I was like, look, I gotta go talk to this girl, so can you like help me, like, you know, just be there as a wingman or something like that. So he drives to the school, and he was a senior and he wasn't like taking any finals that day. He goes in and I buy him some food, and we see the girl in Chung-Li. So Chung-Li gets into a car and she leaves. And so basically me and my friend, we pulled up to Tabitha, and I jumped out the car and I called out to her and I was like, Tabitha. And I ran up to her and I said, Tabitha, I'm really sorry about how weird I made all of this. And then she was like, what are you talking about? And I looked at her, and then she kind of got a little bit soft, and she was like, yeah, you did make it kind of weird. And I said, look, you know, I just got confused when you blocked me and everything like that, and we should just really start talking and, you know, maybe hang out over the summer or something like that. And then she was like, just go, Noah, just leave. And after that, I just left, and that was pretty much it. And she seemed like she was walking to her friend's house or waiting for her parents to pick her up or something like that, so I kind of caught her at a bad time. But regardless, though, if the guy you've been wanting to talk to in person walks up to you, confesses his feelings in person, and then you just tell him, oh, just go. You know, that's kind of a little bit rude, but I can kind of understand it because she was probably like distracted with something else, and I kind of just like showed up out of nowhere. So the next day was my last final, and I was kind of looking around for Tabitha a little bit, but then I got tired of waiting around for her to show up. So basically I asked Lacey to give me a ride home, and as we were pulling up out of the school, I see Tabitha like looking really upset, and she was walking towards the school. I don't know if she was looking for me or anything like that, but I was kind of thinking, okay, maybe I should tell Lacey's mom that I left something at the school so I can have an excuse to leave and just go on the bus or something like that and talk to Tabitha for a little bit. But then I was like, it's not worth it. Which I kind of feel is like a mistake, because I would have been able to find out if she was looking for me or not, or if she was just wanting to talk to somebody else. But she did genuinely look upset though, and I kind of felt bad about that. And after that, I went home, and that was pretty much it. And I was really upset that I wasn't able to talk to her after I confessed my feelings. And about a week goes by, so I hit up her best friend Chung-Li, and I was like, look, I'm really sorry about not talking to her sooner. I was like, should I just leave it alone now? And then she was like, yeah, she's heartbroken and she doesn't want anyone. And I was like, yeah, that's completely understandable. I kind of just played with her emotions because I confessed my feelings for her in the middle of May, and I didn't talk to her because I was wrapped up in a bunch of drama. So I guess from her perspective, I kind of just led her on. But in between everything that happened, there was a person that I had been speaking with online for a really, really long time, for about like 2 years, ever since I like started up my YouTube channel. And she started sending me messages, and she was like calling herself my god waifu and everything like that. So I started to theorize in the back of my head, maybe Zero, which is what I'm going to call the anonymous account, might actually be Tabitha. So I was also kind of wary when I spoke with Tabitha in person, because I was like, okay, this might be Zero. So let me just make what I'm gonna say as vague as possible. Let me not just be like, yo, what's up, Zero? Which is something I probably would do now after like all the shit that went down over the summer. And so this person was calling herself my god waifu, and she also mentioned something about blasting music in the streets, which is something that Tabitha saw me do towards like the end of school. And I was like thinking, wait a minute. The exact same day that she texted me about that was the exact same day that Tabitha saw me just playing music randomly from my portable speaker. So I don't know, maybe it could be her. But then I was like, it's too much of a coincidence. But I kind of thought about it for a little bit, and I was like, why would this person be calling herself my god waifu? That's kind of fucking weird. But anyways, I didn't really act on my suspicions for about a week. And I'm going to end off the story here. And this is the end of the Crazy Stalker Crush Part 1. This Part 1 was basically the backstory of me and Tabitha. And Part 2 is going to be more revolved around how I thought Tabitha was like this online person. So I hope you guys look forward to Part 2, which is probably going to be coming out Wednesday or Thursday, whenever I feel like going on the mic and just talking. So I hope you guys enjoyed the Part 1 of this story. And I'll see you next time. Peace out.
I ain't worn my shit for like 6 days. Now I wanna take a sick day. Got half the digits of 6 pays. I ain't be sleeping, but still ain't got the time to explain. I ain't be creeping because I be trying to evade. Just wanna kick game, split flame. I got in my brain stunting. Go outside and twist some paper, but never catch me, friend. Go through the demon door, come back like I forgot. It's something, nothing in my head. Wishing I would take on the day that still roll up to your block.